Hello, welcome back to the RadiantSDK tutorial series. In this video I'm going to talk about how to package a game that has been using the SDK as a standalone product. It's pretty straightforward. There are a few important steps you need to follow closely or it won't work. But we'll just jump right in here. Here is the SDK demo level that's been packaged up. As a standalone product. It's all here working. Alright, so let's get to it. So you'll need to follow along in your own project, or you can make a new level like I have done, or a new project. This project is just a blueprint first-person shooter project, and I have a single WebView actor in the scene set up how I've demonstrated in prior videos. If you haven't seen those, I suggest watching them so you'll know where we are. This is just a web actor that's got a box collider around it with the standard overlap messages coming from the box collider. So and you can see it's all working here. So so how do we package this up? The first step that you need to do is to fix up the content. So the Unreal Engine currently doesn't properly package content that comes in a plugin into a standalone product, and this is something that's going to be fixed at some point, I'm sure. But for now we have to make some adjustments. So to do that, the first thing we got to do is we need to move content over that we're using from the SDK. So that is usually just a few things. Excuse me. The first thing is that it is using this panel, this flat panel, and you can see that it's coming from the RadiantUI plugin. And so we want to find that, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to just copy that over into our game. And we're going to also we're going to want to grab the emissive material, which this panel is also using. We'll just put that into the materials directory here. And the hover and arrow, which are also being used. We'll go ahead and put those into textures. Alright, so now that we've made copies of those, we can go ahead and we can switch the one that we're using here. So we'll just find flat panel, and this is the new one. You can see it's in my games meshes directory. Okay, we'll go find that and open that up, and we'll make sure that its material is now pointing to the new material that we also copied, just like that. We'll save that out, and we'll save this one out, and then in order for the cursors to show up, we need to go and change the WebView cursors to point to the ones that we copied over. So the ones with the stars are the ones I copied over here. Games textures, and the hover, and there's the clone. And we'll save that, we'll compile that out, and we'll make sure that this is still working. Okay. Now, something to note, if you do something wrong in one of these steps, you're just going to basically see nothing. If you miss a material, you may see just the default engine material. You may not see mouse cursor. You may have to do a little bit of debugging on your own to find out which step that you missed. But if you do exactly what I'm doing here, it should work okay. So just remember, don't reference any of the assets in the plugin. Make sure you either copy the assets over to your content directory or you're using your own. So that solves this particular step. the next step is actually probably the most painful part, which is you have to turn your blueprint project into a code project. But we make that pretty simple by just saying file. We're going to add code to project. This step, of course, isn't relevant if you already are using a code project. We're going to add some code to this project though to convert it over, and it's just going to be a dummy class. Not important, won't be used. It just needs to be there so Unreal will link up the plugin code, because shipping packaged versions of the games do not ship any DLLs, or at least no plugin DLLs. Everything gets built into your game, and without a project that has code in it, Unreal will just totally ignore the plugin classes and types altogether, and you just won't see anything. Excuse me. So, and we're going to want to build this, so we need to close down Unreal for now, and we are going to want to save all those. And you'll notice that it has the plugin stuff. Now remember, when I made this project in an earlier video, I just made a brand new project and I dragged the plugins directory from my downloaded SDK folder, and so it should look like that. Alright, so I'm going to build this, and I'll pause the video, and when it's done I'll come back. Alright, so we're done compiling. We're just going to go back into the project directory and start the project up again, and it should load up just fine. Alright, and we can still play and run, and no problem. Great. Okay. The next step is to actually cook your content. So you're going to say File, Package Project, and I usually like to do the debug game just because I can debug the code if needed, and the logging may or may not be a little bit more verbose. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to go ahead and switch that over anyway, and it should be fine either way. And I'm going to say package for Windows, and I'm just going to say I'm going to put it in my project directory, and I'm going to make a new folder, and I'll call it staged. Alright, and we'll let that go, and I'll pause the video now and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, actually I missed a step here. And that step is to add Radiant as a dependency on your project. So to do that, we're going to close out the window here, and we're going to go back into Visual Studio real fast. I'm going to change this project build.cs, and right at the end of this we're going to say RadiantUI. And I'm just going to build this again to be safe, so I'll come back when it's done. Alright, my build completed. I'm going to go ahead and start the project up again. I do apologize for that. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to package again. And it should be in the stage directory still. Alright, and I'm going to pause the video again. Alright, my build completed, and my packaging is done successfully. So now I'm going to go over to my stage directory, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the plugins directory here first, and I'm going to copy CEF runtime, the folder plugins RadiantUI CEF runtime, and I'm going to go ahead and move that to the stage directory, right in my binaries folder. Now make sure you delete the API source and Visual Studio's directory, because you don't want to distribute source with your project. And if all is well, this should just work now. So I will go ahead and run the my project exe here. Alright. And that looks like that's all in order. And now one more note. It's important, if you have a WebUI folder, you're also going to want to put that WebUI directory right in the same path as I've got here, where your binaries and content and saved folders are. You want to put your WebUI directory in there. That does not get packaged by Unreal yet. So anyway, hopefully you fared as well as I did, and please post any questions in the forums. Thanks.